Well, hello everyone, welcome to the 23rd iOS tutorial. In this tutorial, we have two different topics. The first one is UIAlertController, and the second, UIImagePickerController. The first topic introduced in iOS 8, and it deprecated two topics, which are UI Action Sheet and UI Alert View Controller. So let's move on and see what are these topics. As you better know, I always show the final product first to have some idea what we are going to create. So we have a blank page for the sake of simplicity, but with one image, and when we select image, the view comes from the bottom of the screen, which is the UI action view, and it has multiple choice. One of the choice is camera. You can go to the camera, and when I click on this camera, it should show me a UI alert view, which is our other topic. And it says this is a simulator, and in the actual device we have our camera, but here we don't have it, so it should show alert. And the other subject is image gallery. When we click on this image gallery, it should bring up the photo of our device, and when we click on any picture of this, it will show the picture inside of our application. So let's create it. Let's create a new project in a single view. Call it image or show image. Show image. Objective-C, iPhone, and that's it. Save it. Create. Okay, we always start from the storyboard, so let's go to the main.storyboard, and because we want to have it for iPhone 6, we click on the view controller until the border goes to the blue, and then we set size to iPhone 6, which is 4.7. And now, because we have a button here, and here it is, if I show you what we're exactly doing, we have a button here and image behind. So let's add a button. It is here. Use a blue guideline. I call it select image. And we have a UI image. So grab it and put it in the middle of the screen, and then we expand it to the whole view. And then, if you remember from previous tutorial, you have to add our constraints. So the first constraint is about the button. Remember that this select image is on top of the image view. It's not on the top of the image view, so we have to add it at the bottom. So now we can select it. See, now I can select it. So let's put the constraint for it, and it should be, first of all, uncheck this, and it should be standard value from the left and standard value from the top, and that's it. It says it's not in the right place, so we fix it. Now it's good. And we have an image view. If you don't understand how we are setting the constraint, you have to watch the previous tutorial. So let's put the constraint for this view as well. And let's uncheck this. 0, 0. And this one should be 0 as well. This one 0. So we have 4 constraints. And it should fix it. Now everything is set. We also have to connect this to our view controller. So let's just control drag from the button and also the image view to the view controller. We do it with this editor, and by selecting the storyboard from one. Yes, the storyboard. Oh, I'm sorry, I did not this button. This button. You know, this Yosemite, they changed everything, and that's why I'm a little bit confused which one was what. So this button, it used to be a tuxedo like, but right now a assistant editor is two circles together. So we need the storyboard from one side to make enough room, and the view controller on the other side, so we can drag to the view. So we need the view controller.m. Let's get rid of some of these unnecessary code and make it a little bit bigger by doing this. And I drag, control drag, because it's a button, we should have UI action. So I call it select image pressed. So we would get notification when somebody hit this button, and also we need the outlet for this UI image. So outlets, the place for outlets is between interface and end. If I want to put it here, it doesn't allow me. So we need the outlet to get access to this image view. So I call it image view, and we're all set. Okay, in order to have a view like this, a view with these buttons, we have to define a UI alert controller. So let's create a property so we can access it anywhere in our class. Strong, non-atomic, and the type is UI alert. See, this UI alert is deprecated, we won't use it. Controller. And we call it alert CTRL. So now we should allocate and initialize it. So let's create a method. It's basically up to you. You can start initializing right in view did load, but I prefer to create a method and do it inside of this method, so it would be more clean and nice. I call it setup alert CTRL, and that's it. And I will make sure that I call this method when the view is loading. Actually, view did load. I call it setup and setup alert control. Okay, now I initialize it. I say call this alert self alert controller equal, in like the other allocation UI alert controller. At first we call the superclass UI alert controller, and then it has an initializer, and it's a class method, so it's alert controller with title. So what is the title? The title is this. For us, this is select image. So title here, we call it select image. Select image. And what is the message? We don't have any message here. If you put a message, it will go underneath this select image. So we won't put any message, but you can try. If we don't want to put message, we can call it nil. And it needs the style. What is the style of this? And we wanted to show it like a action sheet, like this view. This view is called action sheet. So the style of this action sheet is called UI alert action. UI alert controller style action sheet. So if you put this, it knows that okay, it wants to show it as action sheet. Okay, let me put each parameter in different line. so it would be more clear. So we have title like this, no message, and the style of action sheet. And if we want to just show this title with no button, anything, we have to present it. So we should put it inside of this action, IB action, which is connected to our select image. You remember we connect this button to this method. So if I want to present this alert, I should put my code inside of this method. So we say this is how we present a view controller. Say present view controller. See, we have two type of method. This is deprecated, that's why I put the line, red line on it. But we will use this present view controller, and it says what view controller you want to present. And we want to say self.action alert controller. And animated means if you want to show it, do you want to have animation to show it, or you just want to show it on the screen? Of course we should say yes, so the animation says. And what we are going to do when we finish showing it, we are not going to do anything, so we put nil. And now if I run this, it would show me just the title. Okay, if I select image, it would show me just the title. Now it's the time to put the buttons. Let's go back. Okay, now in order to add button, we have to add action. So I put the comment sign add action to alert CTRL. And before that, we should create an action. So we should say create an action. So how do we create an action? It has a very simple template then we can use multiple times. So I will create a template, and each time I will just copy paste it. It's called UI alert action this time, and I call it camera because my first button is camera, and then I will allocate memory for it. And how do we allocate? It's a UI alert action, and it has a method, class method called action with title. What is the title? The title of the button that we want to put. So for me, it's camera here, camera, and the style is UI alert action style default. UI alert action style default, and you will see the default is the default. We have different style. If I go for it, we have style cancel, style default, and the default is the ordinary and regular buttons inside of that view. And the cancel, we will use cancel, you will see that, but destructive is the red button, so we don't use it, so I will not add it. So for this button we just use default. And then we should use a handler. The next item is handler. What does it mean? It means that once we select this button, what should we do? This is how we handle it. In order to use this handler, double click on this and it will create this curly brace and this weird style that we haven't seen. So what is this? We put all of our code inside of these two curly braces, this one, in order to give some functionality to this button. When someone presses this button, this code will be executed. So let me put comment here, implement action. So let's make this a little bit clearer. And so if I run this, you see, okay, so it is right now, it's a little bit better. So we have a button with this title and this style, and it will handle our action here. So we should put our code inside of here. And now I will skip this part and I will just add this action inside of my alert controller. How do we add it? We just say self, let's put it after this comment, self add action, self does CTR, alert controller, and the add action. So what action we want to add? This camera. Just say camera. Let's run this and see what would happen. Okay, when I select it, now my camera is here, but when I select it, nothing would happen. So I have to put something here in order to give this functionality. Now I have two other buttons which are image gallery and cancel. So let's create these two. I just copy paste this and add it here. This time I call it image gallery. And the title would be image gallery. And we have to handle this like the previous one. We should put code inside of here. And this time we have to add it also to the alert. Add action, this time image gallery. And also I will add a cancel button. Here I will copy paste this again. This time I'll call it cancel. And the title would be cancel. But the style here, instead of default, should put cancel. Style cancel. And then what we want to do inside of it, because the cancel button, the implementation for cancel is very simple. I will show you how to dismiss the view. We should put this is how we present it, self present view controller. Now we want to dismiss, we would say self dismiss view controller, and this time it says, do you want to show it like animation? We said yes. And do you want to do anything after you dismiss the view? So nil. And then we close the bracket. And now if I run the program, it should show me three buttons. Actually I have to add this cancel to self.alertController add action. This time cancel. Should show me three buttons, and just cancel has implementation. These two should not do anything. So let me create it and run it. Okay. Now if I select image, this is our three buttons. Camera and image button. Image gallery doesn't do anything, but cancel will do dismiss the view. Okay, we should now implement the execution for camera. So I can add my code right away here, but it's not very clean. It's better to create a method and just name this method here. It would be much clearer for other developers if they are using it, or it would be for later on you would understand the code much more better. So I would create a method here, and I call it, it's returning nothing, and so we would say void. Then I said handle camera. That's it. So then I would call it here. I'll call it self handle camera. Now I would put all of my implementation inside of this method, and I can remove this. So it would be much cleaner and nicer. I can do it for image gallery as well. So this time I would say I can copy paste this actually. Copy paste this and put it a different name. And this time I say handle image gallery and call it here self handle image gallery. So these are the two methods that we should handle. So let's start with handle camera. Here, what we want to do here, let me show you what exactly we want to do. In a simulator, it is different from the actual device. Let's assume that we are using simulator. When I select camera, it should show me an error like this. And it says, okay, this is an emulator. We should use another device, or yeah, not the emulator because it doesn't have any camera. So let's put the code here. What we want to show, it's exactly like allocating action alert controller. So I just copy paste this inside of here, but I have to use another name, and it could be a local variable because we don't use it anywhere else. So I can use another name. I would say at first, in order to create a local variable, we should say the type and the name. I would call it alert. So now what is the title? The title would be this error. So I would say error. And this time message is not nil. Message is camera is not available on this simulator. So I would say camera is not available on the simulator. So, and what is the style? This time, this is not action sheet. This is a UIAlertController style alert. So, UIAlert. So why is it alert? Because the style of alert is this rectangle in the middle of the screen. If I choose action sheet, it would show from the bottom of the screen, but I want to show it like alert. So that's why we put it here. Let's put each on this line. Yeah, it's okay right now. So now we create the alert. We have to add it in add action. For example, if I just run this and show it, first of all, how do we present it? Exactly like here, we present the view controller. So let's say self present view controller. And this time, what is our view controller? This is alert. So let's say alert. We want to animate, yes. What do we want to do after it's finished? Nothing, so we put nil. So if I run this, it would just show me the error and the camera, but I want the OK button. So how do we put OK button? Exactly like here, add in an action. So I just copy paste one of these here and put it here, and instead of camera I call it OK, and the title would be OK, and this style is exactly like UI default, UI action style default. But what do we want to do inside of it? We want to dismiss the view. We want when we press OK, I want to dismiss this error. So let's do this. How do we dismiss it? We say dismiss view controller, yes, and we don't do anything after this dismiss, so we put nil. So let's run it. So it is really simple. We just add an alert, and so one thing that we forget here, we should add this OK to this action. So we say alert add action. So we put this OK inside of it. Now if I play, it would show me select image, and if I camera, it would show error. And if I press OK, it will dismiss it. Okay, so far we just talked about the simulator, but how about the actual device? And how should it handle the iPhone device? So here, in order to differentiate between simulator and the actual device, we should use macro. This is the first time that we are using macro. Macro is a little bit weird in terms of coding, but they will compile before you code going to be compiled. So at first it will compile the macros and see if there is anything they have to look, and then go through your code. So this way, in our code, I would just want to use the macro to say, okay, if this is the simulator, use this part of code, but if this is the iPhone, use another type of code. So in order to add macro and if a statement, I start with this. You can use it as is. If, and then our condition. The condition is target iPhone simulator. So this is the if statement. And it gives me error because I have to close this if statement. But before closing, I want to add else statement because I have a device and I want to say, okay, if this is the simulator, go to this part of the code, this block of the code. But if this is if else, I said if elif, call it elif, and target is OS iPhone. Then I want to put some code here, some code for iPhone, and then I have to at the end close this and this macro, which is end if. And now my error is gone. So this is how we differentiate between simulator and iPhone. If I don't put this if statement and just put my iPhone code here, when I run the program and select the camera, it will crash my application because it doesn't have camera. But right now it will smart enough to recognize and differentiate between simulator and iPhone. So I will add my code here between these two. In order to give the user this opportunity to use his or her camera and take a picture and then add it to the application, we have to use UIImagePickerController. And the way that we use it, I prefer to use property in order to access it through the entire class. I create a property and call it, the type is UIImagePickerController, and I call it ImagePicker. And now we have to initialize it. Where do we initialize it? Under the iPhone, because we don't need it anywhere else. So I would say self.ImagePicker and then UIImagePickerController alloc and then init. So we initialize it. Now we have to define a source type. Where does this image picker should get the source image picker? It has two types of source. The first type is photo library, and the second type is camera. So for here, I want the camera. It says UIImagePicker and UIImagePickerController source type camera. And then at the end we have to present this to the user. So say self and then present view controller. What view? Controller self.picker view. Image picker, sorry. Image picker. boolean animated, actually yes, and we don't do anything after it. And because my iPhone is selected, you can see I can run it and I can show it to you right now. Okay, if I select image and then go into camera, okay, this is showing my camera. So that's it. And we can take a picture, and it says use photo. Because we have not implemented any delegate method, it doesn't do anything, but the whole point is it's showing the camera, and they cancel it and go back to the application. Okay, we implemented the camera. We just have to handle the image after we take the picture. Let's implement the image gallery. For image gallery, we should do the same thing that we did for the camera. I just copy and paste it here. This is the handle image gallery that we created here. And instead of type camera, I will choose photo library. And then I run it to see what is the difference. This time, when I select image and go into image gallery, it should bring up all of the photo library, and then I can see all of my pictures. This is how it works. And I can cancel it. But if I select any of these images, it should not do anything because we have not implemented the delegate method. Now the last piece of my application is getting the image from whichever source that I use and set it as a background. How do I get the image? I have to use the delegate method of image picker. So first of all, we set the delegate self.imagePicker.delegate equals to self. So we set the delegate equals to self. It gives us a warning. And what is this warning? It says we have to put UINavigationController delegate and UIImagePickerController delegate. So where should we put it? And in front of interface. So let's put it UIImagePickerController, UIImagePickerController delegate, and UINavigationViewController delegate. So, and if I hold the command key and click on UIImagePickerController, it will bring me all of the delegate methods of UIPickerController. And the one that I need is this one. When we select this image, and it actually did finish picking media with info. And the picture that I take from the photo library or camera is inside of this NS dictionary. So let's copy this method, and going back, if we go back with this button, going back and implement it at the end of our application, remove this semicolon and open curly braces. And what should we do here? It's kind of like magic. It's not the magic, but it's kind of like funky code where we have to get an image from this dictionary, and this dictionary has a key, and when we get and define a key, we can get the value, which is our image. But it's the type is NSData. First we define an NSData, and we call it data image, and we say it has a method called UIImageJPEG. So we use this method. First of all, as I said, we get the image. It has two arguments. The first argument is UIImage. How do we get the UIImage? By using this dictionary, which is info, and it has a key called, at first you have to look for that key by object for key. If you remember NS dictionary tutorial, we said it has a property, it has a method called object for key, and it returned the value for the key. So the key is, be careful about the typing, because if you mistype something, it will not bring your image. So it is UIImagePickerController original image. And that's it for the first argument. And the next argument is the compression quality. What quality do we want for this picture? It is from 0 to 1. The 0 means that we want the least quality, and the 1 means the best quality. So I would put 1 for this, and okay, so we have to just close this. Oh, I forgot to put star. And then we should convert this data to UI image. So we call it UI image. So img. So how do we convert it? We say UI image alloc, and it has a method initializer actually init with data. So what data? Our data image that we just created. This data image. And now we got the image. What do we want to do? We want to set it as a background. Where is our background? If you remember, we created outlet, IB outlet, UI image. So we can use this IB outlet to set as our application's background. So we say self.image view, oh, not image picker, image view, and it has a method called set image. And now we can say should use our img that we just create here. And yeah, let's run this and see what is going on, what would happen. Okay, we select image, we go to the image gallery, and we bring up image, but it doesn't dismiss. It sets the image, but it doesn't dismiss the view. If I cancel it, I would see my image, but it doesn't dismiss the view when we select the image. So one more line of code it needs. We want to say self the image picker dismiss controller, yes, and we don't want to do anything after dismissing. And now let's run it. And then we select image gallery, and it will dismiss the view. Okay, since we want to do the same thing for the camera, I just copy paste the delegate method inside of our camera. So that's it. I just run the program, and you will see I can select image, then go into camera, and when I take a picture and use it, it'll add it as a background. So that's it. That's all for this tutorial. Have a good day.